Today, we're diving into a property report for a single-family home in Southern California. But this isn't just about one house. It's really a fascinating look at what people are actually paying for in today's crazy real estate market. And let's just start with the big number, the one that grabs your attention, the asking price, just shy of $800,000. Now, that's a lot of money, for sure. So the real question is, what do you get for it? And there it is. That's the heart of the story for this house. It's not really about the fancy kitchen or the number of bedrooms. The report makes it super clear. The real value here is its address, because that address gets you into one of the best public school districts around. So the way this property is being presented, it's basically your ticket into the city of Walnut, California. Think of it as a chance to get a foothold in a really desirable community, one that's known for being safe, having amazing schools, and just a great quality of life, all for a price that's actually below the area's average. Okay, let's get down to the basics. What are we looking at? It's your classic 3-bed, 2-bath setup. And here's a key detail. It just hit the market. It's a fresh listing. And as you know, that can be a real opportunity to jump in before a bidding war starts. All right, so we've seen the listing details. Now let's talk about the actual house itself, the structure. What are we really looking at here? The data gives us a pretty clear snapshot. It was built in 1975, so it's definitely not a new build. The living space is kind of modest, just under 1,300 square feet. But check out that lot size. Over 7,500 square feet, that is a very generous yard, which means tons of potential for outdoor living. And of course, you get that practical, attached 2-car garage. This quote from the report just sums it up perfectly. This house is a total blank canvas. The structure is solid, it has what they call good bones, but because it's from the 70s, you can bet the new owner is going to want to update, well, pretty much everything. The kitchen, the bathrooms, the whole vibe. It's that classic trade-off. You get a better price, but you've got to be willing to put in some work. Okay, let's pivot to what the report says is the #1 reason to even look at this property: the schools. This right here, this is the core of the whole value proposition. And boom, there's the magic number. This is the grade school's rating for the high school you're zoned for, Walnut High, a perfect 10 out of 10. For any family with kids, a number like this can be the single most important thing they look for. It literally props up the value of every home in the neighborhood. So what does a 10 out of 10 actually mean in the real world? Well, look at this. Reading proficiency at Walnut High is 80%. The state average for California is only 47%. I mean, that is a massive, massive difference. The data just shows you're getting a huge academic leg up in this district. And it's not just a one-hit wonder with the high school. The whole journey from K through 12 is incredibly strong. The elementary school gets a solid 8 out of 10, the middle school another 8 out of 10, and look at the state rankings. All 3 are in the top tier. You're looking at a consistently high-performing academic environment from day 1 all the way to graduation. And then there's this little detail, which is just a huge quality of life perk. The house's backyard is literally right up against the elementary school campus. I mean, for parents with little kids, that is a game changer. No more carpool lines, no morning traffic stress, just a super safe, short walk to school. Okay, so we've established the schools are top-notch. Absolutely. But what about life outside of school hours? Let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the community of Walnut Hills itself. This number here, this is all about safety. The violent crime rate in Walnut is over 65% lower than the national average. That's a key statistic that really backs up the city's reputation as a secure, family-friendly place to live. That's peace of mind. Now, if we use the high school enrollment numbers as a kind of snapshot, you can see the community is incredibly diverse. The report really emphasizes this. It's a vibrant, multicultural place to live with a very strong Asian American and Hispanic population that really shapes the local culture, the food, everything.
And if you're a working professional, this is obviously huge. Walnut is in a fantastic spot strategically speaking. You've got amazing access to the freeways, putting you in a totally reasonable commute zone for the big job hubs in both downtown LA and Orange County. You get the suburban lifestyle without being totally cut off.
Okay, so we've covered the house, the schools, and the lifestyle. Now let's get down to brass tacks and talk about the money. What does the investment picture actually look like? Whoa, okay, this is a really, really important slide that any buyer needs to wrap their head around. Thanks to California's tax laws, the property taxes get completely reassessed when the house is sold. And that means the annual bill is going to leap from about $1,400 to an estimated $8,500. That is a massive jump that you absolutely have to bake into your monthly budget.
But here's a little bit of good news for buyers. The market has cooled off a bit. Prices in the area are actually down 6% compared to last year. So that tells us the crazy bidding wars have probably settled down. And for a house like this, one that needs work, a cooler market is a huge plus. It gives you some leverage to maybe negotiate the price down and keep some cash for those renovations. So, after digging through all the data, what's the final takeaway? What's the bottom line for someone thinking about buying this place?
Let's start with the pros, and they are powerful. You're getting into an elite school system. You're living in a really safe community. You get a huge private yard, and you're in a great spot for commuting. These are the big long-term assets that people are looking for, especially families. But of course, there are definitely trade-offs. Let's be real. The house is old, and it's going to need money and effort to modernize it. That massive property tax hike is a serious financial pill to swallow. And yeah, while freeway access is great, you're going to be in your car for pretty much everything. This isn't a house for someone who wants something move-in ready. It's for a buyer with vision who gets that the true lasting value is outside the four walls of the house itself. And that really brings us to the big provocative question this whole report leaves us with, doesn't it? It really forces you to decide what's more important, a perfect finished house or an unbeatable location. You know what they say in real estate, you can always change the house, but you can never, ever change the location. So what would you choose?